All right, let's go back to this. Has the appointment of judges become too political? Political leaders do sit on the Judicial Services Commission that has been advising the president on the appointment of top officials. But some of the questions controversial. A law professor says there should be a limited number of those appointments. And a professor of law and the exec dean of the Faculty of Management and Law at the University of Limpopo, Professor Omphemetse Sibanda, joins us now. Thank you, Professor. How is the JSC constituted in the first place? What are the traditions? How many politicians are there right now?
I can count. Sorry, good evening and thank you for having me. I can count really quite a number of politicians and political appointees here. For instance, you do have 6 that are appointed by the National. 6 appointed by the National Assembly. You have 4 appointed by the National Council of Provinces. You also have 2 persons designated by the President of the Republic in terms of, Section 178 of the Constitution. I think we have 4, yes.
Yeah, so sort of on the panel, legal minds versus political minds, what's the mix?
The mix, in my view, is quite imbalanced. In fact, there's been a growing political influence in the appointment of judicial officers because of the very same imbalance, because you can count more than 60% or more than 50% of political appointees in that. For instance, you have only 1 law lecturer on that particular panel. But then in an ideal world, you should have had at least quite a good number.
Carry on, Professor.
What I was just saying that now, a typical example, you have only 1 teacher of law or law lecturer on that particular panel.
Yeah,
in terms of Section 178. But ideally, it should have been at least more than 2, at least.
All right, so the political side has got more coverage, perhaps, since EFF leader Julius Malema has been there. I remember one of the questions he asked a male judge sitting for possible appointment was, why aren't you moving aside for a woman to be appointed? But he is a male political leader. But you're saying over time that, the politicians have always been there and they've always been influential.
The politics has always been there, has always been influential. But let's just step back and consider a number of cases that have been before our courts whereby the Judicial Services Commission's outcomes were challenged. A typical example is the 2012 case of freedom under law and the Judicial Services Commission. And the Constitutional Court was quite very clear to say that the Commission inadequately considered the candidates in terms of the qualification, in terms of the experience, and in terms of the ability to promote the values of the Constitution. And the reason really behind that is too much focus on side issues or on issues that are more leaning towards the political.
And is there even a danger where you could have a politician who wants to settle scores?
That cannot be ruled out. But then that would then speak to the issue, and that's exactly the same issue that I'm talking about, the external independence of the Judicial Services Commission, meaning the independence of the Commission from political branches, the executive and the legislative power, as well as other persons that are non-judicial actors. Because then if they are there or they exert more influence than it is necessary, then the threats of impartiality and independence of the judiciary will be there. Next time we'll be saying our judiciary is captured.
Yeah. You write that your argument would be a gradual process of staffing the commission with people with the same minds who would probably help identify and appoint the judges. Isn't that phrase, the same minds, the problem? And politicians would say, look, if you all go to the same law schools, you all think the same, you all act the same, there will be a lack of diversity and a lack of differing opinions.
Ideally, in an ideal world, if our society was working perfectly, people were accountable, people were focusing on the job at hand, one would consider that particular argument merited. But in my view, it is not. Politicians would like to come on board, but just look at their own house, where it is their own space. They are failing to represent the public in the manner in which it is expected of them. So that argument, for me, it does not fly. In fact, the reason why we have this particular Judicial Services Commission or a similar organization or institution is an acknowledgement that now you have a profession that has, as part of its oath, to act in a very judicious, impartial way to show that now they are fit and proper, to be the leaders of the society. As we speak, the judiciary is the only institution of government, in my view, that has been able to hold the fort in protecting our constitution and constitutional values.
All right, thank you very much for that opinion, saying there should be less political appointments on that very crucial Judicial Commission. That was Professor of Law and the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Management and Law at the University of Limpopo, Professor Omphemetse Sibanda.